Hi guys, my name is Minhajidin Ansari and you're watching another tutorial on C programming, and today I will be talking about two things. The first thing is the common mistakes programmers make while using the getchar function, and the second thing is the putchar function. So first I'm going to talk about the common mistakes programmers make while using the getchar function. So I'm going to define two character variables a and b, and the character variable a will be equal to the character inputted by the user. And remember, the getchar function is used to take a character input from the user, and the getchar function is buffered. So now what I'm going to do is that before that I'm going to ask the user to enter a character. Enter a character. And again, I'm going to ask the user to enter a character, and my character variable b will be equal to the character inputted by the user. And in the end, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to print the character variables a and b. So, what should my program do? My program should first print the statement, enter a character, and the getchar function should take the character from the user and store it inside the character variable a. And after that, the printf statement should again print, enter a character, and the getchar function should take a character from the user and store it inside the character variable b. And in the end, the printf statement should simply print the characters a and b. But that does not exactly happen. So when I run the program, I'm going to enter my first character. For example, I enter S. But as soon as I press the enter key, it did not take the second character from me. It just printed the first character S and it just skipped the second character. So again, let me run this program again. And again, I'm going to enter another character, for example, Y. And as soon as I press the enter key, it just displays, the printf statement displays the character y, which is stored inside the character variable a, but it does not take another character and store it inside the character variable b. It only runs once right here, and it just prints the character a and some blank space in place of the character variable b. So why is this happening? Why isn't the getchar function asking the second time from me to enter a character from my keyboard? So this is due to the concept of buffers. And let me just open my paint and show you. So you already know what a buffer is. A buffer input is your getchar function is a buffer function. That means as soon as you press a character, you also have to press the enter key in order for that character to be stored inside your program's variables. So first, let me draw my buffer. And the buffer is simply simply a small sequence of bytes inside your main memory. So now, the first getchar function will ask the user to enter a character. So as soon as the user enters a character, what will happen is that inside your buffer, that character will appear. For example, the user entered the character S, and after the user entered the character S, the user also has to press the enter key, because the getchar function is a buffered function. So when the user presses the enter key, a new line character is also stored inside your buffer. So what happens now is that the character S, it is stored inside your character variable A, because the getchar function only takes one character from the buffer, and the new line character is left behind inside your buffer. So your buffer is now like this. It still has the new line character stored inside it. So now when the getchar function is called again, so when I make b is equal to getchar, what happens is that the getchar function extracts the new line character from the buffer and it stores it inside the character variable b. So that is why, so this is, remember, the new line character is also a valid character and it also has a valid ASCII code. So the getchar function, instead of taking another input from the user, it just takes the remaining character in the buffer, which is the new line character, and it stores it inside the character variable b. So how do I solve this issue? Well, what you can do is that you can add an extra getchar function before you take an input from the user and store it in the character variable b. So what I can do right here is that before I take the input and store it in B, I can just add an extra getchar function right here. So this extra getchar function will simply extract the new line from the buffer, and since I'm not storing it anywhere, so it will discard it. So now when I run the program, I'm going to enter my first character, and this character will be stored inside the character variable A. And now I can easily enter my second character, for example, Y. And now the printf statement will simply display the characters A and Y. So let me show you what's happening again. So let me just move right here. So initially your buffer is empty. This is your buffer right here. And each box it represents a single byte and stores a single character. So now when this statement runs, A is equal to get char. So what happens is that the user enters a character and the user presses the enter key from the keyboard. So now your buffer has a character, for example S, and it also has the new line character because the user has to press the enter key because the getchar function is a buffered function. So now the character S would be stored inside the character variable A, and your buffer will only have the new line character left behind. So now you place an extra getchar function before calling the getchar function and storing the character into the variable b. So the extra getchar function, which is right here, this extra getchar function will extract the new line character. So this extra getchar function will extract the new line character from the buffer, and since I'm not storing it anywhere, it will simply discard it. So it will extract it and it will discard it because I'm not saving it inside any variable. So now your buffer is again empty. So now finally, when you call the getchar function for the third time, so what will happen is that since the buffer is empty, then the user will again enter a character and press the enter key. Let me just move this right here a little bit. So now when the user enters a character and presses the enter key, so now your buffer will again be filled by another character, for example Z, and the enter key, which is a new line character. So now the character Z can easily be stored inside your character variable B. And that is why when you call the printf statement, both character variables A and B are displayed in the output screen. But keep in mind, still, your buffer is not empty. Your buffer has the new line character in it. It still has the new line character in it. So in the end, it still has the new line character in it. So in order to get rid of the final new line character, what you can do is that you can add another getchar function after calling the getchar function and storing the character in the variable b. So this will just discard the last new line character which has been left behind in your buffer. So again, let me just call this function, and I'm going to enter my first character and enter my second character u, and the printf statement will print the characters A and U in the output screen, and the final new line character which was left inside the buffer will be discarded by the final getchar function. So this is all it about using the getchar function properly and avoiding mistakes. And now I'm going to talk about the putchar function. The putchar function is simply used to display a character in the output screen. So for example, my character A and my character alpha is equal to the character capital W. So now with the help of my putchar function, I can display that character in the output screen. Simply pass the name of your character variable right here and add the semicolon. So now when I run the program, I'm going to get the capital character W printed in the output screen. So this is all it about the getchar and putchar functions. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comment section, and thanks for watching this video.